And we are live. Should be, anyway. Let's see how quickly it shows up on
Yeah, let's
Facebook.
see if I get my notification, because all of you should have notifications turned on for Facebook. And if you, doesn't look like my YouTube has started yet. There it goes.
Good morning. We're on Facebook.
All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Hopefully y'all have had a great weekend. We're suffering a little bit from the time change. I was good. I was ready for the time change. I had been waking up an hour earlier until today.
I'm not.
Breakfast for the family, and anyway, so it was a busy morning. I've done a lot this morning. Jessica has too.
You know your mom when you're ready for a nap before you even get to work.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
But I feel like they just like to pick on everybody with the time change. I think we could do without it. How do you feel? Does anybody have a strong opinion about that one way or another? Let us know. But it definitely feels earlier. It feels even earlier than an hour earlier this morning. But it definitely feels earlier.
That's not too bad of a delay. My sound was on. So, all right. So if you're joining us on YouTube, be sure we have a little banter before we get started. I'm just trying to give people time to get on. Be sure to like this video, comment, and subscribe so you'll see the next ones.
Jen, that is the worst. Jen had a meeting at 8 a.m. and she rushed there only to find out that it was at 9 a.m. My goodness.
They were just setting you up to be on time since it's daylight savings, the dates after daylight savings. So look, I'm so behind. I'm actually drinking my coffee. It's not coffee and questions, but I'm actually drinking coffee this morning. And I've always way done that before we get on live.
Good morning, Deanne. Good morning, Heather. How are you doing, Deanne? It was cold yesterday down here. She's in Clearwater. I live just north of Tampa, so we're like pretty much neighbors. We need to meet in person. Sydney, Austin, Samso. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Good morning.
So glad you're here.
I'm going to run to the group and see if there's anybody we need to let in really quick.
Oh, yeah.
I got it. I'm here.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
It's always good to see new faces. We have a lot of regulars who show up with us. But seeing new people chime in is wonderful. Good morning, Edith.
Good morning, Edith. Have you received, Edith Terry? Have you received?
Did you get your bracelet?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, she shared a video a couple weeks ago, so we sent her a free Grit Grinding Grace bracelet.
Exactly. Sharing is caring. So we will periodically do that. So if you know of anybody specifically, or you don't mind sharing it to your whole timeline, share this video. We do give gifts.
Appreciated. Yep. Yep. You got snow, Heather. Well, yeah, I saw some of my friends in North Alabama had some snow, and then Tennessee had like real snow. It was just
nuts. We actually had some snow too, a dusting, which is now it's pretty rare. When growing up, we had maybe an inch once every year for sure. So we did have a dusting. We had another dusting earlier this year. I'd like to have a good 6 inches that lasted one day. So, and then yesterday I was outside hula hooping and working in the yard, and under the eave, I had shorts on and a short sleeve shirt, and I'm the coldest person known to man. And there was still snow up under the edge of the eaves in the grass. So where it had stayed cloudy, whatever, so not in the shade.
Absolutely. It was so cold here in Tampa yesterday that I was not wearing shorts or a tank top. So that's crazy. All right. Wow. What an intro. Call to actions, how they can make or break your engagement. And they totally can.
Totally.
And Julie's going to tell you how.
Let's go. Nothing like that on the spot. All right. So we've talked in Take Action. We had a whole little series on it. And we talk about it all the time because it's so important for engagement. But some people don't even know what a CTA or call to action is. So basically, the definition would be just what you want them to do next. Okay. So it's when people come into your sphere, there's so much going on and they read your post, you kind of have to give them the next thing. So it could be subscribing to your list, buying your goods, clicking a link, watch my next live, subscribe to my YouTube channel, whatever it is, you need to have the next thing you want them to do. So hopefully that clears up exactly what the call to action is.
Exactly.
Typically it's going to be something, if it's a post, it's going to be something that pertains to what you were talking about as well.
Exactly. And if you do not tell people what to do next, there is almost 100% chance that they will not figure it out on their own and do it, which is why a lot of people tend to get frustrated because they're not connecting clients all the way through their customer journey from seeing the content to taking action on it or downloading a freebie or, like Julie said, whatever it is that you need them to do that's going to be relevant to what that piece of content was about, whether it was a social media post, a live video, a blog. That's a big one too. Excuse me. Time change.
Time change. Yes. So we talk about repurposing content all the time. So having a lot of clear call to actions is a good thing. So having places to send people, and whether you're on chapter 1 or chapter 20, you can create at least 3 to 4 call to actions, even if you don't have a freebie, even if you don't have an email list. You can create a group. You can push them into that group. You can ask them to DM you, private message, whatever. So get creative on how they can reach out. And one last CTA that everyone can do is just ask a question. So, just because comments are super important on your posts. So having a good question that's pertinent to what you do is a good CTA too.
Exactly. So if you're not to the point yet, or maybe you're just doing a presence building post, so you're not necessarily asking someone to check out a product or to download your freebie, then great call to actions can be things like, well, let me know what you think below, like we did in this video. Say hello if you're here. That is technically a call to action. Now there are call to actions in the video as well as we talk about things. If you need things, then we throw little call to actions in. But if you don't have a Facebook group to join or a freebie to download, you can always just ask for the engagement that you're not getting. You can ask for them to drop their favorite emoji in the comments, or to I see Sandy do a lot of this, and she has a lot of success where you were counting on your social profiles on Thursday, and it was just so easy and it's mindless, and that's what the people on your news feed want, something that they can interact with without having to put a whole lot of energy and effort into it. So don't think of call to actions as only from a sales standpoint, but also just from getting that engagement up.
Exactly. So we've got a few tips for creating effective call to actions today. So first and foremost, again, your timeline's busy, everyone's busy. I say it all the time, microwave society, whatever. Just things are going on. So the first thing you want to do is make sure they're clear and concise. Don't ramble like I do sometimes. You want to make sure when it's a CTA that they understand exactly what they're supposed to do. So it's, buy now, click here to do this, message me for the deets. download now. I mean, they can be a little longer than that, but don't get lost in the fluff because people just don't pay attention. They skim, they're skimmers. So be sure that they understand what you're trying to get them to do.
Exactly. And you want to be careful about engagement baiting, which we did a whole live video on engagement baiting and what it is. But in a nutshell, if you ask for people to tag their friends or to share it or to comment in the comments directly, Facebook's algorithm picks up on that, and they'll actually limit the amount of, I guess, newsfeed time that that particular post gets, because it's something called engagement baiting that Facebook looks down upon and tries to contain. So you'll want to be a little creative about it. You know, like if this would resonate with someone, let them know, using that language instead of tag anyone who could use this, that type thing, because the word tag will throw off a big red flag for them, for the algorithm.
Exactly. We've already touched on this too. So another tip is obviously to include one on every post. So, and again, it doesn't have to be promotional. You just need to ask for some engagement on some of them, because not all your posts are supposed to be promotional. So if you're just asking for a good comment, like she said, Sandy's counting. So I need to go find that. Maybe we can, I'll go find that for our win today. We'll save the win we had for today for next week. So anyway, but every single post needs to ask for the next step.
I told you they wanted to see our face.
I did it.
Deanne.
Thank you, Deanne.
So question, if you post, for instance, 4 posts a day, how often do you suggest the CTA to your Facebook group or freebie versus strictly engagement?
Ooh,
it's a good one.
It is. So normally I would almost say 80-20 rule, but I don't really think that applies when it comes to CTAs, because think about what your mission is and what the post is about. So if it's something that you can really parlay into, want more information like this, join me in my group, or whatever. So I would say even 50-50 is fine. Probably even more than that, just as long as you're asking for each one. You have a different opinion or better?
No, I like it. Because, and I think you're correct. The 80-20 rule applies to selling. So you should never do more than 20% of your posts, 1 in 5 of your posts, a straight up promotional post. But when you're doing something like offering them to come into your value sphere, like your Facebook group or your freebie, there's really no limit to that. And you've been watching a lot of our content, Deanne. So you, I think, will understand very clearly the difference between like a social selling ask versus please download my freebie so you can get into my customer funnel and buy my stuff. Like that's, of course, that's the intention, but you're delivering value. So I would say anytime it's relevant, it's okay. Even if that's 2 posts, 3 posts a day.
For sure. And I am looking for Sandy's, so I'm multitasking a little bit right this second. Oh, you were? Okay, I find it. You find it. I'll go on. So that way it wouldn't disrupt the apple cart here. All right. So the next tip is give people a reason to engage. So some of these are sort of the same thing that we've talked about, but having something, I want to be really careful because not everybody has a lead magnet yet, and they may not even have a group. So, but when you are in business, you need to start thinking about things like that and trying to get people to take the next step. So a discovery call. So if you're I'm trying to give a good example. So if you're in skincare, and so for me, like foundation, this is not something that I can just want to buy from someone without like a color match and whatever. So offering a a color match session or a free discovery call to decide what you need, for your skincare journey, things like that. So, but again, the whole reason for the CTA is you got to give them the reason to do the thing. Okay. You got to give them the instruction to do the thing. Yep. The fourth one is make them interesting. Okay. So we talked about not losing them in the fluffiness of text or whatever, but they need to have some interest. So don't use the same one over and over and over. But you can get creative in thinking of, in great ways to create them. I'm a batcher, so I like to sit down and I get in the mode, and then I think about all the things that I can do. And last week, I think it was in office hours, we talked about, I don't know, tools. I forgot what we talked about. But anyway, OneNote, which is what I use to batch. I have a list of CTAs that I have created. If you have our dashboard, I have used the dashboard instead of the hashtags, which by the way, there's a feature request. So we're creating one for snippets for call to actions, but I've used my hashtags to create call to actions too. So sit down and think about those things that will help you to keep it interesting. The fifth one, I don't know if you're still going, so I'm just going to keep going. You just stop me or jump in. Fix what I break. Make them relevant. We already hit on that earlier. If at all possible, make them pertain more to what you're talking about. Creatively make them work their way in. And the next is make them visually appealing. So with that, you'll see if you've ever looked at our blogs, we use the little pointing finger for each of we have multiple call to actions at the ends of our blogs and in our signature on our email now. We talked about that in a live as well. So you'll have to go back and find that one. But a way to make those stand out. So use some type of emoji. And again, if it's a descriptive emoji that plays on whatever the topic is, it's going to draw people's eye. You also can use images. You can push your call to action into the comments. And you can use a GIF there. So there's lots of really creative ways. You can have the full call to action. Let's say you record a video of yourself talking and it's like a 30-second video. Oh, now that I've got your attention, be sure to join our Facebook group at whatever. Okay, so get creative with those.
Those are some great examples. So I found that counting post. Do you want me to just share it in the Facebook comments, or how do you want me to?
We can use it as the win.
Okay. All right. So we'll show it at the end once we talk about what to post this week.
So you got to stay. You got to stay till the end.
Yeah, it is good. It's good. And this is like a great example of how a counting post like that can, one where you keep coming back, and Sandy did something really, really smart here. She keeps going back and she's counting too, which is what
keep it going.
It's stoked, and it keeps it getting on new people's news feeds. So we'll show that as the win later. Later, whenever we finish talking about today's motivational visibility, or this week's motivational visibility and presence building posts. So,
all right.
Thank you, Sandy. She loves these trainings and listening to us to always learn some nuggets.
Oh, hey, Sandy. Yep. So we have two more tips for you. So the next to last one is use a relatable story. So we've already talked about keeping them short, but I'm going to tie these two together because the last one is try more than one approach. So we've talked about keeping it short. So another way to try multiple things is to make it a little bit longer, tie in a story. So it's a full couple of sentence CTA of how it relates to you. You can be vulnerable, it can be powerful, it can be inspirational, whatever, but try to work in some type of story that means something to you, because I get to say it, people do business with people. They want to get to know, like, and trust you before they buy from you. All right. And then the last one again was try more than one thing. So don't keep them all the same. People get bored. They'll learn, you'll train them to just scroll right by. So got to keep it interesting for sure and try different things. Yay.
Exactly. Sorry about if you're hearing Olivia in the background. Sorry about that.
You can't, or I can't. So I think it's good.
Oh, good. Watch all of the SI peeps start accounting posts. Yep. Love it. Oh, Jennifer. So that's kind of yes, we're kind of like sheep. Tell us what to do. That's the reality. And it's just kind of the human condition. We'll just call it the human condition instead of sheep. But you do have to tell your audience what to do, and you'll have a lot more of them doing it for you.
For sure. I mean, and we all know that social media is a moving target. The algorithm changes, getting engagement. That's why we do this Marketing Monday, and they're always something to do with getting engagement, because that is the number one thing that we get asked all the time is, how do I get more engagement? How do I get more people to see our posts? And having a good call to action to get them to comment or do the next thing is one of the biggest ways. And people just miss it. It seems so easy, but they just miss it. So be sure to, in our, so the second part of this is about your social plan, and our content. We can't write call to actions for you. There's just no way, really. I mean, we can, like, what do you think, or something when it's an engagement type question, but to whether you tie it back to your niche or not, you need to have some type of call to action on all of the posts that we provide for you. So getting really good at call to actions needs to happen.
Exactly. So that was call to actions. Hopefully there was a ton of value in there. Julie kind of stepped up with all those tips. But now we're going to talk about what to post this week, specifically March 14th through, is it the 21st?
I believe.
I think so. Well, the 21st is Monday, so March 14th through the 20th.
There you go.
What we're going to do now is I'm going to switch over to the membership area so that you can see all of these great MVP posts that are going to help you get more engagement. So in order to do that, I have to go to switch to content. Sorry, Deanne, you're going to have to see
the thing. And if you're new here or catching the replay or on YouTube or wherever, and you haven't ever been here, our MVP that we talk about all the time is a way to think about your content. So, and to basically to get engagement. It is our answer to getting engagement. And it is basically M for motivate and inspire. You're casting a net to try to get people. You're not alienating them with, buy my stuff posts all the time. So motivation, it's not alienating. People will comment on them, especially if you ask them to, or ask them their opinion. Visibility, that's engagement driving questions, engagement posts, holidays, again, not alienating posts. And then the last one is presence and promo, and those are going to be more of your business posts, but you're trying to get them to see your non-alienating posts, trying to get those to see them so that they will see. If they comment and they like, the algorithm picks up on the fact that they want to see your posts, and they'll start showing them their posts. So think about the people that you see their posts all the time. It's because you've engaged with their content. Or even if you didn't comment, it's because you stayed. It might have been a long form post and you read it. It's that you're engaging with it, even if it's not comments.
Exactly. And you can think about it on the other end of the spectrum too. That time when you really enjoyed someone's content, and then maybe they started a business, or they joined, network marketing is a big one, because people tend to come right out of the gate and just start posting promo. And then all of a sudden, every time you see something on your news feed from them, you're like, please share something besides, sales and promo for this new business that you started. So that's where the M and the V really helps our small business owners get back on the news feeds, get more engagement, and get more traction for the promotional content that they are putting out. So we usually do screenshots of this, but time change, ran out of time. So I'm just going to show you, here's a bar of 3 posts. These come with Canva templates. So if you don't like that Ferris wheel, you can swap it out. But there's nothing permanent except for change. Of course, that one, you can use this one for any niche. And even if it doesn't go in your niche, people can appreciate an engaging or a motivational post, something that is, encouraging, or even just kind of meets them where they're at. Maybe they are going through change and they're not enjoying it so much. So little reminders like these, or you will have to work the hardest in life for things that you want the most. Just that reminder to someone who maybe woke up and felt a little on the struggle bus this morning. The whole point of these isn't to promote your skincare business or to promote your coaching business, but instead to connect with them, and to, show them that you're kind of going through the same things and that you understand life. Life
Exactly.
is
That
hard
you're social.
way.
Exactly. And that you're not all about work as well, because work-life balance is important as well. So
Exactly. So these are our M posts. And as you can see, there are a lot of them in here. We'll talk about another 3 next Monday. But for those of you who are YSP members, you have access to all of those right now.
Yep. Oh, can you click back really quick? So what I mentioned earlier is that we can't really write the CTAs for you. So in that, there's nothing permanent except change. In that post, the caption that we have, and you're in control whether that change is good or bad, make it good. So if you can add some type of CTA there on every single post, it can be a quick question like, what do you think? Or what are you willing to change? Or, whatever, something like that. You're going to get so much better engagement when you do that. But I just wanted to show that underneath that's our proposed caption. You change it to work for you any way you want to.
Exactly. All right. Visibility and engagement. These are more about getting someone to comment, or getting someone to feel like you're staying relevant, which is hard because, you don't have time always to remember that it's the first day of spring, or that it might be National Spinach Day, and you could capitalize off of that because some people love it and some people hate it. But these visibility posts are meant to get people talking to you. So they're usually a question or something that is in the realm of holidays. So today is actually National Pie Day, and we do have a post. We have 2 sets of these. So we have a set that's Canva templates that I'm showing now, and we have a set that are flat images. So National Pie Day, you can run any kind of little promo you want, or even just a did you know is always a good one. Of course, March 17th is St. Patty's Day. Anything green that you have, we can talk about that when we get to the promotion posts here in just a second. And then, of course, Sunday, March 20th, is the first day of spring, and everyone is excited about that. Everyone.
I was channeling my spring yesterday.
Yeah, I'm really surprised by that because it was so cold here. It was like the least springy day of all. But you can also make these more like, what is your favorite thing about spring? Like this post right here. And if something's not going on, you can always make it like a weekday post. So what's your favorite thing about Monday? When is spring break in your area? All of these are meant to increase your reach on news feeds in spite of the algorithm. So that's why we call it the MVP posting strategy, because it is a strategy and it does work, and it helps overcome the lack of engagement that so many people are experiencing.
Right. It's definitely, you can bring back a page or profile. Something we get asked a lot that we don't cover here is that, are these good for pages, profiles, groups, whatever? we give you enough content that you can mix it up and you can have, like you saw that there were multiple Happy St. Patrick's Day. And here's another one in the set that's not Canva.
Oh, there
That
you
you
go.
can post different posts throughout. It doesn't have to be the same, but don't get hung up on, you see lots of blog posts that it's like, you shouldn't post the same thing across. I disagree. I think it's perfectly fine. Everyone is not going to be seeing them anyway. So whatever saves you time and effort, go for. But you might can experiment and mix them up.
Yes, and it's always better to post something than nothing.
100%.
So,
and ask for the engagement with a CTA.
Exactly. All right. So, giving you guys, if you're not a YSP member, we're giving you a bunch of free value right now by showing you all 5 of the promo ideas for March. But so I just wanted to, we pointed out the spring cleaning sale last week in the Back to Basics, the first Monday of this month. Obviously, today is National Pie Day, 3/14. Get it? Ha ha ha. But so even if you don't sell something cool, mathematical themed or sciencey, you can run a promotion. You can, if you have the time. I realize that today might be a little late to talk to you about running a pie day promotion, but we've seen people offer free pies for certain number of purchases. Obviously, that's for bigger businesses. You can do a gift card to get a piece of pie or something like that. Or, Julie, you want to take that last little part?
Yeah, oh, I'm not. Oh, well, I wasn't looking. If you're an online business, here I got it. If you're online business, you can send free gift card for pie for everyone who's purchasing something on this day. Oh, that's not what I'm supposed to be saying. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So, and I really like this one because I remember when we came up with this one, it's really kind of unique. Like if you have 8 this is the traditional number of slices in a pie, and one item on special that encourages people to grab a slice of the pie before it's too late. So, you can be as creative as you want. If Pie Day has slipped past you, don't fret, because really only it's not the biggest opportunity for sales and promo. Obviously, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Obviously, the first day of spring is on Sunday. So you can really focus on that more than anything else.
Exactly. But getting in the mindset, and I love showing this one. Sorry, I wasn't ready for that. But getting in the mindset of using these like little known ways to promote, again, that are really creative, that is going to make yourself stand out in people's news feeds. Like the 222222 day, whatever, like having a promo, if you have something that you can sell for 2222 or whatever, again, that's gone, but you want to start thinking about creative things, and having this, we try to alert you ahead of time of ideas of how to capitalize on these.
Exactly. And we do that, I think, really well because we always provide the next month ahead of time. So people have been able to see these March promo ideas since February 1st. So St. Patrick's Day, again, March 17th, coming up fast. Anything that's green, gold, springy, luck theme, or you can just say it's your lucky day and run a promo on it that way. I'm not going to give away all of these because I know everyone that's watching isn't a YSP member, but we also provide the fill in the blank posts, and we call them promotion and presence posts because a lot of them are not promotion per se. They're helping you create posts that deliver value, like a tip Tuesday or a Thursday thought, or things like that really help you connect and build know, like, and trust with your audience. So these P posts are not just about promotion. Deanne has a question. I just saw it pop up, but I got to get back over to the other screen real quick.
Actually, stay there. Her second part of that question is, how do I find these in the dashboard? Oh, are you going to pull up? Can you pull up?
No, you don't want me to do that. It will take way too long.
Nope. In the dashboard, Deanne. So there's a link to this. We have a members area, which is what you're viewing now, where all of the content is for. We have people that have the dashboard, which is the pro version, and people that just have content. So this is just the content, but you do have access to it. You would just go to sociallyinclined.com/ library, and you'll see everything that you've ever purchased from us there. And you'll see
Exactly. But these P posts are in your dashboard.
they are.
They are just posts without graphics, so that you can rearrange them, upload your own graphic, and schedule it just like the rest of your content, Deanne.
And actually, so I think she's asking about the promo ideas, like the 5 promo. We could actually add those into the dashboard at some point. I think Mike can get those in there.
Gotcha.
I'll look at doing that.
Gotcha. All right. And finally, it's time for our win. Way to go, Sandy. So this is, like we said, this is a great example. Engagement's so hard to come by. And we've talked a lot about telling people to do something. This would be a perfect example of a V post, a visibility boosting post, because it's not about her skincare business. It's about doing something silly and something easy to do. Go ahead and give you a like there. So she's just asking people to count, and she's encouraging them. She's giving them a goal. Let's count to 1,000. We've done it once. Let's see if we can do it again. And she has 133 comments. And if you look through here, Miss Sandy, she will count with everybody. And that actually helps the algorithm go further. See, she's counted several times. So anytime that it kind of slows down, or I'm sure anytime she got a notification, she would go back and just drop a number. And that is what's keeping this post going for 7 days.
Yep. So the teaching point here, so this happens to be a counting post, but what you need to gain from this is if you have a post that did well, you can revive it by going and commenting several times and responding. So that's one of the things you're supposed to do, is to go back and respond to everyone. That helps with engagement. But if it has sort of died, you can go back and restoke it by having a few more comments, and the algorithm will say, oh, it's going again, and they'll start showing it again. So, and people will look at it because it has so many comments. They'll want to see whatever is going on that post. So lots of goodness going on there.
Exactly.
So, and again, it has nothing to do with her niche. You know, we get that so much about people, so hung up on that. Yes, we do have niche content. We sell bundles. We have a fitness and we have a skincare version, but everything should not be on niche. It just should not, because you're going to turn away some of the people, and you need all the engagement that you can get. Even if you get engagement from someone that is not going to buy from you, when you get that engagement, it may show the post to someone who would purchase from you. So that is why everything should not be on niche, in a nutshell. And we have such a hard time explaining that one.
We used to have such a hard time explaining that one.
I
think we're getting better and better about it now. But.
For sure.
All right. Marketing Monday.
Yep. So we do have one quick question. So Marcy is, how do you change the date and time easily? I'm assuming you're meaning in the dashboard, and in the dashboard, if it happens, so they're in queues. So you just have to shuffle the queue. If you want something to skip, like if you don't like something, you can just let it skip and it'll pull the next one. So there's several different ways. I'll see if I can record a video specifically for that. But because they're in queues and not just scheduled, we changed to that to make it easy so that everyone doesn't have the same content. So you can reshuffle, or you can skip a post. If you click on the 3 dots, there's a skip a post, and it'll pull the next one forward. And that's probably going to be your best bet to save time. The whole dashboard is meant to save you time and energy.
Exactly. Deanne wanted to know, do we have a list of CTA examples in any of our trainings or resources? I think we gave a list in the CTA training for Take Action, for that particular Take Action training, when we talked about CTAs. If I'm mistaken, then we can put a few in this afternoon's blog, which will be created based on what we just talked about in the last 45 minutes.
Exactly.
That'll be you can watch for that to go later, and we'll send out an email so you'll have access to that blog later today.
So Heather says, who's having pie today? Yay. So, another way to capitalize on some of these is if you go out to lunch today, and you can just take a simple selfie with you, and in honor of, I had pie today in honor of pie, in honor of pie day, whatever. So again, you're showcasing you, people who do business with you. If you're in fitness, that's a perfect way to explain a cheat. If you allow yourself to cheat here and there, to have a delicacy, only eat a third of it, whatever it is. So you can relay these national days into something that is a teaching moment if you choose. But they can just be fun.
Exactly.
An excuse to eat pie, Sandy says. Exactly.
I love it.
I don't love cake so much. I don't really love a lot of sweets, but I do like a good pie. Mm-hmm.
So Julie, yeah, and this is why you can post things even if they don't resonate with you, because pie, I can't even think of a flavor that I would want. I'm just not a pie girl, but Julie is. So, and I'm sure that half of your audience would feel the same way.
Exactly.
So why not give it a
easy
try?
to ask, what's your favorite pie? I mean, if you don't want to say take a selfie, it could be you eating it, but what's your favorite pie? That's going to garner those, that's a good CTA. It's going to garner, people want to answer. They just want to answer that. So I like key lime. I like coconut. I like egg custard.
I'm not sure I've ever had. So see, it maybe if someone presented me with a coconut pie, I might eat it.
Coconut cream.
So now I feel deprived. So pecan would be my answer, because right around November, December, I will eat pecan.
I love pecan pie. Stew fly pie. I don't know what that is. I've heard of it, but I don't know what's in it. So we're going to need a recipe, sharing a recipe for Pie Day too. Your favorite pie recipe. So that's a good way to work it in. But when you capitalize on those, when people want to comment, it just helps you to be seen. I cannot express to you that this works when you post things like this.
Man, yep. But it totally does. It totally does. Just like Sandy's counting post that we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
So go forth, eat pie, show it, post a picture of it.
That's right.
And see what happens. It's definitely not going to hurt. And don't be afraid to post off niche.
There you go.
Because you will collect more people in your audience that way.
Yep. And this has been another installment of Marketing Monday, brought to you by Julie and Jess.
Exactly. We'll see all of our SI Academy members tomorrow for content class. If you want to know more about CTAs or writing content that speaks directly to your audience, you can go to sociallyinclined.com/store and become an Academy member there for just $15 a month. And you get to join us once a week for an exclusive content class where we talk specifically about content and getting more engagement. And we'll give you specific examples for showing up live with us, like CTAs, personalized CTAs for the topic that day. So make sure you go become part of that if you are looking to up your content game.
Yep. There's no better accountability than to get in a little class with everybody, and everybody getting like showing off. Oh, it's working. Like, that's such goodness.
Exactly. Yep.
Go forth and eat pie.
I'm hungry too now. Have an hour before lunch. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.